Welcome back to Product Bakar. If there's one constant in product leadership, is this. You will never have all the information, but you will always have to make the call. And every decision you delay has a cost, not just in time, but in team trust. Today we are talking about decision hygiene, the frameworks, habits, and mindset that help great product managers make hard calls without losing sleep or alignment. Most product managers spend too much energy trying to make the right decision. Great product managers focus on making a good decision at the right time with the right process. Jeff Bezos once described this using the type 1 versus type 2 decision framework. Type 1 decisions are one way doors. They are irreversible and high stakes, so you take your time. Type 2 decisions are two-way doors. They are reversible and lower stakes, so you move quickly. The problem is that most teams treat every decision like a type 1 door. They slow down, overanalyze, and lose momentum. As a leader, your real job is not to be perfect. Your job is to keep the organization moving. A good decision usually has three ingredients. The first is clarity. Everyone knows what we are deciding and why it matters now. For example, should we sunset feature X to focus on onboarding? That is a clear question with a clear scope. The second ingredient is context. The reasoning behind the decision is transparent. Context turns disagreement into alignment. The third ingredient is closure. Once the call is made, it is made. Teams move forward knowing the decision will only reopen if new data appears. At Stripe, product managers often write simple decision documents. These are short notes that explain the problem, the options considered, the reasoning behind the choice, and the final decision. Everyone can see the logic even if they do not agree with the outcome. That transparency builds trust in judgment. Let's look at a real example. At Airbnb, teams used to run A B test endlessly. They would keep tweaking experiments and waiting for perfect statistical significance. Brian Chesky introduced a simple rule. If we cannot decide after three rounds of testing, we will make a judgment call. That small change made teams faster, sharper, and more confident. Because they realize that waiting for perfect data is often just disguised fear. Great leaders know when to stop analyzing and start deciding. That is decision hygiene, knowing when enough information is enough. Here are three habits you can use to strengthen your decision hygiene. First, time box your decisions. Give yourself a clear decide by date. Clarity loves deadlines. Second, use a decision owner. Consensus often kills velocity. Assign one accountable person instead of spreading responsibility across five people. Third, debrief major decisions. Ask whether the decision was actually good or whether the outcome was just lucky. Reflection sharpens judgment more than any framework. Remember that decision quality compounds. Every clear call you make today builds trust for the next one. Here's your Bucker moment for the week. Leadership is not about always being right. It is about being clear, being consistent, and being courageous when others hesitate. Because indecision is still a decision, and usually the worst kind. That's it for this episode of Product Bakar, the product leader's playbook. Next week, we will talk about something every great product leader eventually masters: building high trust product teams. Because trust is not a soft skill, it is the hard infrastructure that makes everything else move faster. Until then, decide boldly, lead clearly, and keep the Bakar alive.